No, because the investors don't look at it in those terms. Price is irrelevant.
Okay.
That's a retail obsession, right? Penny stocks, they're cheaper. For institutions, it is, what is the adoption? What is the regulation? What is the market? So the more it goes up, the more the market cap makes it available for them to purchase. So that is a much bigger deal than price. So price is a function of that growing market cap. But if you're BlackRock, you would not have looked at it until it got to this, near $1 trillion market cap. And that's the thing. So it's not about price, because what they're looking for, nobody thinks when they buy, let's say, the S&P 500 for a portfolio, for a larger portfolio, they're not thinking, how much is it going to go up? Is it too high at this price? They think, what's the portfolio diversification effects? Does it help add accretive value? How does it perform over the cycle, meaning numerous cycles? All of those things is what they actually look for, because they're looking for portfolio returns. This is an issue with the space, because the space still thinks of it in retail terms. Michael Saylor and the corporate treasurers don't think of it in price terms. They think of it, what does it do to the balance sheet of my corporation to offset other issues that I have with currency balances and treasury ownings and bond ownings and stuff like that. And so that's not a price conversation as such. Obviously price is important, but it's more overall. I've been in Bitcoin, I've been in and out of Bitcoin since 2013. I had nothing coming into 2019. It wasn't the right time, but it got me to refocus, thinking, okay, that structural framework from Plan B gave us all something to hold on to. So that gave us something. Then the price action, it broke out of that wedge, and that was like, okay, now we've got a structural roadmap. We kind of realized the world's moved forward, and we've got price action that confirms it. And then out of the blue, we started hearing about institutions in the space. And for me, same thing, is because I had a ton of conversations. It started with hedge fund managers in their personal accounts saying, I got to get some Bitcoin. We realized that coming out of 2008 and 2012 in Europe, everyone lost faith in the banks, everyone lost faith in financial media. And so it used to be a centralized world where the power to run your money was concentrated in the hands of a few. And we thought about this and thought, this has to change. How can you trust somebody you barely know with your life savings? You have to play a part in it. And that's the democratization of financial intelligence. We thought we need to give the same information, level the playing field for everybody. And Bitcoin is that in a whole asset class. It's really about people taking responsibility. They will make mistakes. They will learn things en route. But it's the power of the crowd of people. That's social media now. It's a place that starts with the ground up and not the top down. And that's a huge change and refreshing for all of us. If we go to the deeper thing of, rebuilding a financial system from scratch, which is what we're all trying to do here, so much of it is actually unnecessary for us to know. Because why should, my uncle in India need to know about custody, clearing, all of this stuff? So our job in this, I think, is to make sure when we build out on Bitcoin that we make sure that it is accountable and we don't make the mistakes of the previous system. Humans being humans will create complicated derivative layers over everything. And before you know it, we're blowing up a DeFi project in Bitcoin. I mean, I remain a little bit cynical because humans are just generally by nature gamblers and they always look for the economic advantage. And so therefore there's a way of obscuring the reality. But the good thing about blockchain technology is what it can solve here. I am optimistic. I do think it's a sea change. Stuff like on-chain analysis will allow everybody the same access. When you use on-chain analysis, it's publicly available for everybody. So you can see what's really going on. That's really interesting. As you said, that gives the power back to the little guy and levels the playing field. So I feel guilty because people say, well, can't you write about currencies? I'm like, nothing's really going on. It goes up a few percent, down a few percent. Bitcoin, meanwhile, is up 100%. So that's the reality. There's a huge new world being built in front of our eyes. And we didn't really get a chance of doing that in the financial world before, because it was always happening in Silicon Valley or somewhere cool, and we were kind of left out on the side. But this is happening to us. Massive disruption that came out of that white paper and changed the world. And in my macro, guys, it's like no other asset is even close to performing like Bitcoin does. So it's almost what's the point? And I know you're supposed to have portfolio diversification and all of that stuff, but sometimes when a macro bet is so clear, so big, so obvious, you just got to do it. And I've talked about this it's like a supermassive black hole that just sucks in everybody because the performance is so dramatic. And the story and the narrative and the future is optimistic. And most of us in finance are bored of being pessimistic about central banks and pessimistic about governments and manipulation and markets and all of that. And here's a whole new world for us to be optimistic about.